Once you see the contradiction, you're going to be able to look for solutions. You see, when you see something that seems impossible, instead of saying it's impossible, I want you to say there's an opportunity here. Contradictions are a pathway to creativity. When you identify something that seems impossible, instead of feeling dread, I want you to feel excited because you have the potential for a breakthrough. Once you solve it, you're going to see that it opens up so many different doors for you. You see, most contradictions, they're false. They exist in our mind. You know why? Because we're stuck, and we only look at things the same way as we always did. But most contradictions are false. They appear to be true, but they're not true. So when you face a contradiction, I want you to break the weak link and say, maybe it's only impossible if we do it like this. But if we think differently, we're going to solve it. Let me give you some examples. So we all want cars. We all have cars. Some of us want big cars because we have children and we like to drive carpool. Some of us want our cars small because we like to find parking spaces in Flatbush on Coney Island Avenue. But here's the thing. I want a car that's big when I drive and small when I park. It's impossible. I can't have a car that's big when I drive and small when I park. Well, it's only impossible if I want them both big and small at the same time. But I don't need a car that's big and small at the same time. Why can I not invent a car that's big when I drive and small when I park? If you realize you just have to start thinking differently. When the iPad was created, there was a problem. We want to make a computer. We want to make a whatever you want to call it, traveling screen, okay? But we also need a keyboard. Well, it's impossible. How could we make a screen that's big and then not have the keyboard? We have to schlep around the keyboard with this. It's impossible. How are we going to have something that's light and portable when we also need a keyboard? But do we need a big keyboard and a big screen at the same time? We only need a screen that's big when we look at it and a keyboard that's big when we use it. And now we have a pop-up keyboard. You see, you don't have to carry around a keyboard with you. We would think we only have to make a big screen and a big keyboard. We don't need it at the same time. Here's my favorite. If you've ever been to a parade, I grew up in New York, okay? They have these like security fences to make sure people don't go in the street because we're maniacs. But we have a problem. You see, security fences are meant to be light because they have to bring them in and out of their cars for parades, schlep them around. They can't be heavy. But if they're light, everyone's going to knock them over. We need a fence that's heavy and light. That seems impossible. How can we make a fence that's heavy and light at the same time? But you see, we don't need it heavy and light at the same time. We need it light when we carry it and heavy when it's being used. So look what they did. Look at the bottom. There's a base. And as the people come to the security fence, they step on the base and they make the fence heavy. They don't have to invent something that's both light and heavy. We have to think differently. And don't you wish we could buy this in the supermarket? Who said bananas have to be sold, either ripe or unripe? We have to stop limiting ourselves. It doesn't have to be the way we always thought. Here's some examples that might seem relevant. I want to offer a certain benefit in my company, but I can't because it'll cost too much. I want to hire a certain employee, but I can't because it'll ruin our reputation. I want to help this employee by getting a coach, but I can't because then I'm going to have to do it for everybody. I can't ask for a raise because my company is making budget cuts. So all these statements have one thing in common. On the surface, they appear to be true. But if you dig deeper, you'll realize that they're not.